Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
All right, everyone. This is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor. And we're going to do the review for NXT on 11/14. Now, usually they just do your average recap of the prior show. But this one, they came out a little different, a little something, because they're building the angle of Andre Chase. Maybe he committed a foul. Maybe he crossed the lines. Maybe he pulled a deal off he shouldn't have done. But that's kind of the way it starts. And then the champs, the tag team champs, show up. And, of course, the press is all over them. But they're going to start it out with Andre Chase and Duke Hudson putting up the tag team belts. They're accompanied by Thea Hale and JC Jane, of course, and they're really building JC Jane into this angle, for the turn. So you've got this match with Tony D and Stacks, Channing, or what is? I've got to start calling him by his name that I'm sure that they'll go to. But you got Tony D and Stacks trying to get the belts back. And this match is not so bad, Andre has gotten better as far as his in-ring work, his timing, and everything. And freaking Tony D, Tony's staying in the gym. It looks like he's being very good with the pasta. The gabagool, he's doing good. But and Stacks looks good, definitely hitting the cardio or whatever like that. So Duke is a big, strong, I didn't say boy, big, strong guy. So he's, it looks good. He's taller than everybody, but Stacks looks like somebody I would hire to watch the door or check IDs. So, and the match itself is not bad at all. Let me see here. You've got the crowd, though. The crowd with the information out there that there's an investigation, like an NCAA investigation, going into Chase U. The crowd has their newspapers up, like they're not interested at some point in time. So, kind of different, kind of different. But man, the speed of this match, the work between the guys is really, really good. Let me see. We had one kind of mess up to where who was it? Who did not jump high enough? Let me see. Who was that? Andre did not jump high enough when Tony D was doing one. Tony was jumping and Andre didn't duck is what it was, right? And so that was really the only screw up, and they pulled it off so well. So who cares? It was a good match, back and forth. They have pretty good chemistry, between all of the newspaper guys reading it out there in the crowd, and building on this angle. Hey, not a bad match at all. But towards the end, it keeps going back and forth, and everybody thinks the other is going to win. It ends up with a bada bing and we have some new champs. That's right. Tony D and Stacks win the belts back. So that is pretty much how the show is starting off. And I'm going to try to do it a little different here. I'm trying to make sure I've got all of my video going while I'm doing the show. And I'm going to post a couple of spots, or at least one for show, about starting the show off on X, used to be Twitter, and a few other things, just so getting and showing you how small my studio is, for one thing. And it's literally, it's a really big, it's a normal sized bathroom. It just doesn't have a bathroom stuff in it, but it is soundproof. But anyway, we go from that match to where, let me see, the win, and then they do a Lita. Lita is on here doing her Iron Survivor Challenge matches. You know, they had a different superstar, a legend, a Hall of Famer. This week it is Lita, and then next week it's JBL, and then ending it up with my Memphis guy, Jerry the King Lawler, excuse me. But Lita comes out and she puts together the matches tonight for Roxanne Perez to go against Lash Legend. And then you have Trick going against Trick Williams, going against Whoop That Trick, going against Joe Coffey with the Gallus brothers. So yeah, that is coming up a little later. They got a quick little promo they do with Baron and Dominic. And, you know, Dominic's letting them know, hey, if you need any help or something, just give a brother a holla. And Baron's saying he's been tearing it up and he's going to do it to Dragunov. So and Wesley tonight, because he's facing Wesley tonight. So, they're going to do that. Then you're coming up with this Metaphor and Noam Dar doing the Supernova Sessions. And this week, it's his guest is Alpha Academy. So, of course, they're going to come out and make a big stank with that big old trophy there they carry around, that big old bowling trophy there or whatever. But they get Alpha Academy, and of course Otis, when he's coming out there, he's bringing the funk. We got the funk, but I mean he's bringing it on out there, and the crowd's all hyped up, and they get in the ring, and you get each person for Metaphor gets the stick for a few seconds. Miss Jordan does a little talking. You've got Lash, of course, doing a little talking. Mensa, Tajara, Otis does. Everybody gets the stick. They pass it around and let everybody get a little TV time. So that, I think, is another reason some of these guys are down in NXT. More time on the on camera. The better your timing gets, and the better everything goes. But in this particular session, which ends up ending with Chad Gable challenging for the Heritage Cup. I was going to call it the Vintage Cup, but the Heritage Cup. But they act like Otis is going to challenge. And before that, Otis is saying that anything Lash Legend says that he's on board with. And which, of course, makes Lash Legend go, ooh. But I'm sure we got something on down the road. Yeah, the interview ends up with Noam taking a swing at Chad Gable, and Chad headbutts him, and then bam. But they're going to Lash Legends match next, to where she's going against Roxanne in this Iron Survivor Challenge match for qualifying. And Lash is bigger and definitely stronger. And in this particular match, Roxanne is actually, probably a little better adept in the ring. They've been giving her the push, so she's definitely been getting, showing them in the background. But she does all the little weaves and wabs, the Rey Mysterio moves on the bigger person and everything. But, man, Lash is so much bigger and stronger. And look, she does like a cartwheel or some, and she is a basketball, she's a baller. She's for real. And she does like a flip. So she's not a gymnast trying to be a wrestler or a wrestler trying to be a gymnast. She's just a badass athlete. But yeah, they end up having to have an angle in this because Roxanne's been getting the push. So how are they going to change it around, I wonder? Well, you bring Kiana James out to put her little angle into it. She holds on to the foot. Big Lash gets to put a big haluva kick or whatever you want to call it, big foot upside the girl's head, and gets her back in the ring and power bombs her, and Lash Legend wins her qualifying match. And Lash looked good in this, but you could definitely tell her timing. She's just a little off, but she was facing such a smaller opponent. And when you haven't had the ring time and you're in there with somebody that's good, but they're that much smaller, that's got to be hard in itself. So, hey, I kind of like it. The match was pretty good. I think both the ladies look good. So, wow, we go from there to you're going into the men's locker room. And a bunch of people are in there. You got Tank and Hank and all the guys in there, Axiom, and they're rambling and rolling. And, the tag champs, the new tag champs, come in and they kind of, are like, hey, guys, check it out. We did it. We did what we said. Of course, the guys are, all trying to get up in there and say they want a shot at the belt. So you got a little of everybody in there. So, it wasn't so bad. Good little spot there. Of course, they end in a fight. You got to end in a throwdown. But then they do a pretty good cinema type promo here with Xia Li and Lyra, the champ. Because Lyra's doing looking at the match, and she's got her trainers with her, and they're talking this and talking that, and then they say that Xia Li has invited her to a traditional, I guess it would be a Chinese tea party, where the opponents, I guess, get together and figure out the tea leaves. I don't know, but she invites her to the tea party. So you think it's over there, but then they actually go to the tea party. And, pretty good. Xia Li is a little older, and it's taken her a little longer to get there. But, man, is she not super talented. And, of course, Lyra is too, and she's an up-and-coming star, and she is the future. But Xia Li is one bad shut your mouth. So in this little promo, it wasn't bad, but, Lyra did not take the tea that she was offered and said that, no, she would rather go on. And Miss Lee says that, hey, I'm sorry I will not have any mercy on you. They go from there to a Trick and Mello little spot, little promo. And, Trick accidentally hit Mello last week. So Mello's been on the They're building the angle. They're building the angle. Trick is now starting to talk the talk and walk the walk and shine a little bit more. And Melo's kind of being a little more mathematical, a little more strategical. So they are building the angle of Melo and Trick. I don't know this for sure, but that's what I'm predicting. Now, they're going to shake hands and everything, and Melo lets him know that, hey, in his match tonight, that he'll be out there. But it's all in your cadence. It's all in how you talk. And they hear the music for the Gallus boys, and so that's the reason they break up the interview there. And then they do their little spot, and they go to a commercial. Then you've got Kiana James kind of bragging, in the ladies' locker room. And this Ariana Grace, their beauty pageant angle they're doing on that one, which is not bad. And we'll see how this goes. But she's gets up in there and gets mad at somebody, and Gigi steps up and says that pretty much she kind of want a little piece of the beauty queen. So it sets up a match, and this promo wasn't so bad. But then you got Braun Breaker on there talking about whooping on Vaughn. Then out of nowhere, you get Dijak. And Dijak comes in, and he keeps saying that he's the one guy that ain't scared. He ain't scared, man. And Braun tells him that, hey, he better be. He better go home and write this down somewhere. But yeah, in that little bad spot on that one. But now they're getting ready for the Iron Survivor Challenge match coming up here. But yeah, Braun them not so bad. But you got Joe Coffey going against Trick. And I really, really, really like the way that Trick and my 3-6 Mafia, my Memphis guys, have turned this around, because I bet his shirts are selling. The crowd was just whoop that Trick. I mean, it was freaking great. And even to start this match, Joe Coffey and him, of course, are going back and forth in the ring, and Joe is more experienced and well-rounded, and Trick is an up-and-comer. But Trick does the deal to where he's bending over backwards, getting overpowered, which is going to be a little odd considering Trick is so much taller and stronger. But he bends, he does a back bend, and then comes back from the back bend. A very veteran move. So Trick has got certain offensive moves down. He's got some things down. It's just his timing's just a little off. Joe Coffey had to carry this on some aspects. But, man, Trick looked great, man, and his punches, Ronnie Garvin-esque, just really just great puncher. I really liked. Trick looked really good. But Coffey has definitely got the time and the ring, the ring veteran there. So this match goes as you would think. It's back and forth, and it's a good match. Go back and check this out. But of course, since Melo and you've got Wolfgang and Brother Coffey out there on the outside, there's somebody, Trick gets on the outside. They kind of whoop on him a little bit. Trick whoops back. And Melo comes over, but he just kind of like, hey, you guys get back. 2-on-1, though. I will say he would have been going against. So maybe, but, slowly building that angle. Slowly building it. but it looks like Joe Coffey's going to win this. So it looks, it's just the way with the numbers. And oh, wait a minute, Trick goes on and dare I say he whoops that Trick. He just a flying knee out of nowhere and wins the match. So it was, hey, go back and check this match out. Trick is getting better and better and better. So the future's so bright, he may have to wear shades. But yeah, they do a little promo with Wesley and Dragunov. After that, and Dragunov is pretty much saying, I guess you're coming for the belt too, and Wes is like, yeah, I got some other stuff to do. So a good little spot there. Let me see. Then we have Baron. Baron was real popular tonight, but you got Baron and Lexus King. Brian Pillman's kid. But yeah, you got Lexus King starting, well groomed, might I add. But yeah, he comes out and they have a good little spot. And I know Pillman looks smaller compared to Baron, but Baron is a big guy. I think he's like 6'5" or something, 6, maybe even taller than that. So don't necessarily look at that spot there and think he's that smaller. But then you're gonna have the Brawling Brutes. You got Rich and Butch, and they're going against Bronco and Lucien, and Reggie, or what's his Scripps, or whatever you want to call him. But is Reggie creating his own niche now? Is he going to be a manager? Because he can take a butt whooping, and he does a flying kick when somebody's head's exposed on the outside in this match. That, of course, looks good. He just can't carry a match. But with these big O's, what do they call themselves? Out the mud, OTM. OTM. You ain't got to do much on this deal. With these big old guys, Division I, athletes. But Rich and Butch look good because Rich is monster anyway. But Butch was the closest version I've seen to my in my younger days. We had a smaller guy that always went up against Lawler, and he went up against all the big guys, but he made it look good. He made it look believable. He made me think, man, this dude is that tough. And that was the superstar, Bill Dundee. That's right, not Eddie Graham, and not it was the superstar, Bill Dundee. And man, he had some good matches and was a great booker, too, in his later years. But, yeah, Butch looked really, really good in this match. He made everything look good because he had to get that butt tore up because he is so much smaller. Rich was smaller compared to these guys. And Rich is freaking, is a thick, a cornbread-fed young man, so anyway, the match is a pretty good match. Reggie, Scripps, whatever you want to call him, he gets involved, and everything, but, the Brawling Brutes there, they made the Rooks look good. They did do that. So, let me see here. What did we have? No, I guess I didn't even say that the Brawling Brutes won. But then, they go to Joe Gacy, and he's on if he's where I think he is, he's on a rooftop, and the beach is kind of on one side of him, and the wind's going. But he's giving, giving his Joe Gacy speech, which is not bad, nothing's bad there. He gives his little spot, and then he pretty much throws the camera off the roof. So I'm guessing they did the whole thing up until the last end with one camera and then did the other. But, good little spot with him. And then you're going to have a Gigi Dolan going against Ariana Grace. And not really sure in this match who's carrying this match. It's just a little odd. Now, I've been fortunate enough to see, a married couple that had a ring in their house train. And to be a good ladies wrestler, I think you have to train with men. So when you get to where you can move them, then you can move most of the ladies your size with ease. But you have to be, as a guy, you have to be a good enough wrestler to work with these ladies and go with everything. So, in other words, you got to be good on both sides. And Gigi and Ariana here in this match, it's not a bad match, and they both look pretty good. Gigi's been getting better and better, and Ariana is coming on. Looks like she's been definitely doing her cardio and everything. And look, and Gigi's going to win this match, but not a bad match. Gigi is getting better and better, and if you're going to be a beauty pageant person, that's going to be your stick, your goods, your ammo, your gig, then you got to pull it off. And I think she's doing it so far. So we'll see how this goes. We will see how this goes. Let me see here. We got a little promo with Von Wagner and Mr. Stone in it. This is a recap in itself. It might as well have that song from the 70s, Memories, playing in the background, but it just goes over how they met. They both started at the same time, and apparently Mr. Stone figured out that there's a gravy train over there. But anyway, it goes through their life and everything, and how Von Wagner had to deal with the bullies and stuff, and Braun, the Braun recap, and on this little spot they kind of say, hey, look, we lost the match, but did we win the war? Because he did put Braun through the table or through the desk there. So, and then Mr. Stone, of course, with I'm guessing his Italian background, invites him over and says he's going to call the wife and tell her, hey, you're coming for dinner. So bam, bam, thank you, man, on that one. All right. From there, we've got Eddie Thorpe recovering from his matches with Dijak, and saying he's back and he's ready to go. Then you got Gulak and Dempsey and, that other dude, Bourne, and they come out, get into a little something and get a little talking, and next thing you know, we got a match. So, let me see. We go from there. We've got Andre Chase trying to leave the arena, and the press is just bombarding him. And so who saves him? Who is his knight in shining armor? Well, it's JC Jane rolling up and telling him to get in, fool. So, they do that little spot. And, of course, they do their promo for Deadline coming up. And, they've had all the other guys. JBL will be the next veteran that's doing the picks for the Iron Survivor Challenge. And of course, my man Jerry Lawler, Jerry the King Lawler, will be doing it after that. But then you're going to have the main event, which is Wes Lee versus Baron Corbin. And this is a pretty doggone good match. Wes Lee coming back a little revigorated and, walking the ropes before the match and getting the crowd fired up. And Baron, of course, is Baron like he is every week. He's steady as they go. Good performer, good on the stick. So, this match is actually a pretty freaking good match. I don't think I had to write. I did write. I mean, because you've got the size difference, of course. Baron is definitely taller and stronger, and in the match, you're going to have Wes definitely take the grunt of most things. So, the match goes typically the way you would think that it would. But then Wes Lee pulls a little rabbit out of his hat and starts, laying some timber down, putting a little thump upside Baron's head. And so we have the first, the appearance of Dominic Mysterio coming out and trying to get involved. And he gets involved, takes a couple of five knuckle shuffle upside the head. But it's going to end up with Baron winning this match. But you're going to have Dragunov. He's going to get involved. He's going to come out. And Baron, Baron puts a little thump upside his head, gives him a little gravy with that Salisbury steak. And Dragunov gets the stick, and he lets Baron know at the end of the show that, hey, you may have woke up the giant, or in his case, the dragon. And he is going to be ready for him at deadline. So, pretty good show. Overall, good. I would say a strong B show. A go back and watch show if you got the time, and just, very good. So, from what it looks like, our guys that have gone over to the main roster, and look at all the people with Survivor, with everything coming up. What is it? Not the Elimination Chamber, but anyway, the big premium event that they have coming up. You've got Grayson Waller involved. You've got Storm involved. You've got all these guys from NXT coming in, making an impact. So really, really happy about that. But, all right, guys, I guess that's going to do it for me this week. I really, really appreciate y'all taking the time out to just give us a listen. On Twitter, Memphis Mark OG on Twitter. So definitely give me a holler. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And, of course, as always, if you can help, rescue an animal or help a shelter out or maybe make a donation. Anything you can do is greatly appreciated in all the shelters and rescues around the country. And, of course, spay and neuter. So, guys, this is going to end it for me. So this is Memphis Mark. And you know what? Yeah, tell you what, guys, I'm going to go eat me some barbecue. So, y'all have a great night, because this is Memphis Mark, and I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.